Right. So I sat down at my laptop there the other day and just blasted out a whole block of text, which just happens just from time to time. And when I was typing it, I was thinking that this should be a video instead of text, but I typed it, and now I need to look over it again and see what it says to get the gist of things. Um, and it's about fear and how fear can have an impact on our health. So I want you to think about your level of fear on a scale from 1 to 10 and notice how that changes throughout the day. What sort of things increase that level of fear and what sort of things decrease your level of fear. My guess is that reading, watching, or listening to the news is going to increase your level of fear. And I'd be willing to bet that you can recognize this yourself without even thinking about it too long. Now, you might think, sure, it's good to be afraid, as that will increase my level of caution and thus protect me from succumbing to any dangers, be it from the virus that's going around or any of the thousands of other things that can kill you each day. Um, and that may be true, but what if fear is bad for you? What if feeling fear every day affected your immune system and thus your body's ability to cope with viruses or other microbes trying to attack it? Well, there's a good chance that that is what is happening. Now, before you start panicking, I have a solution to this predicament if you'll hear me out. Let's scroll this up here. Fear of threats has kept our ancestors and us as an extension of that alive since we first developed a sort of awareness. Um, like hearing a tree branch snap in the woods would have triggered an immediate increase in our alertness. Our hearts would start beating faster. We would get an instant release of adrenaline and cortisol. And this is, it's pure magic, really, because what this does is it primes us to react. It's what you might have heard of our fight or flight response. We get a sense of time slowing down and we were able to take in a lot more information from our immediate environment, and we can decide at breakneck speeds whether we have to fight off a bear or a tiger or make a run for it, hence fight or flight. And it's pure magic. Like, now what does this have to do with today? Well, adrenaline and cortisol are basically endogenous, from inside us, endogenous drugs that our bodies produce to help us in these situations. However, like a lot of drugs, they should only be utilized when necessary. Everything in moderation except moderation, as my mom would say. But why? If adrenaline and cortisol help us think and act faster, would we not want to have this all the time? Uh, because, like any drugs, in excess, they become toxic. In order for our bodies to function at this high state of alertness, other systems get energy and resources pulled away from them. Things that aren't so important in the short term. One of these things is our immune system. You often hear of people falling ill with stress, and this is in good part due to an excess of cortisol. Um, like, if you're in a constant state of panic and fear, you don't tend to sleep very well. You will have tension in your body. You can do this right now. It's a practice of meditation to do a body scan where you would scan from your head to your toes and notice any areas where you're holding tension. I find quite a bit that I would hold tension in my shoulders. So whenever I do the body scan, I become aware of it, and pretty much instantly the tension leaves. Um, but anyways, yeah, the watching of news or scrolling through a Facebook feed or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, where you have these things appearing, um, it primes us to into this fight or flight. And as I said, in the short term, when it's necessary, that's helpful. But when it's chronic and it's happening all the time, then it starts to break us down. And this is what's happening. So you might think, well, the good people in the government or the good people in public health or the good people in the media are trying to alert us to the dangers to try and keep us safe. But in actuality, what they're doing is they're making the problem now. I'm not saying that coronavirus, the COVID-19, that it's not dangerous, but in talking about it all the time and really pushing this, they're making it more dangerous than it actually is because it's wearing people down, forcing people to have high levels of cortisol in their system, and it's breaking down their immune system, meaning that they will have less resilience to foreign invaders, microbes, viruses, bacteria, and all that sort of stuff. So, what can you do about it? That's the main thing, eh? Turn it off. Don't. I know that might be easier said than done, but uh, try go a day without listening to news or watching news. Cut out the scrolling and just notice how you feel compared to a day when your head's stuck in your phone scrolling through fear porn, whatever you want to call it, and just notice how different it makes you feel. Um, and another good thing, as I mentioned, like with the meditation, the body scan, trying to uh, just try out some mindfulness practices. I know a lot of people get turned off by that. It's like, I don't want to do it, and it's it can be uncomfortable for people because people like I find it myself when I sit down and there's nothing happening, my instinct is, "Oh, I'll go for my phone and I'll just fill that empty space." And like a meditation practice is whenever you just sit and basically watch yourself and notice when you're lost in thought and bring yourself back to the present moment. Usually, a good way to do that is by focusing on your breath, and then also body scans. There's a whole heap of techniques, but don't be put off by the idea of it and just give it a chance. So there's that. Turn off social media, turn off the news, focus on the present moment. And everything's okay in the present moment, believe it or not. Most of our most of our ill feelings come from dwelling on things that happened in the past or anxiety over what we think might happen in the future. So there's that, and exercise as well. It's amazing how a little bit of exercise can change your mindset. You'd be sitting in a funk, feeling crappy. You go out for a little walk or a jog or something to get the heart going, and afterwards you just feel much better. So that's my thoughts on that. Feel free to chime in with whatever you reckon. If you think I'm wrong in any of what I'm thinking about here, let me know. Or if you have any other ideas about how to lessen the fear that's around us, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to share them in the comments down below. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, all that carry on. And I'll see you soon.